on by. The vacuum tubes are warming up. This is a special live broadcast right here on Georgia Radio.
Well, it's Wednesday morning. How you doing? Matt Jolly here on Neighbor to Neighbor, the show where we just sit around and talk and sip some coffee. If there's something you have that you want to buy, swap, or sell, you can always send that over to me in an email, and I'll read it. I mean, if it's within reason, I'll read it. But it's matt@georgiaradio.com. I do say that because we had one come in the other day that I can't read. But Miss Ellis, if you're really into that, I would suggest maybe a different website that's into that kind of stuff. It's National Ohio Day. Did you know that? We have our friend from Ohio, Mr. Rob, who's standing by to talk to us about some things from Ohio. Rob, how you doing?
I'm fine. I hope you can hear me okay, Matt.
I can hear you great. Ms. Ellis is apparently into some very interesting things that she'd like to sell that I can't sell here.
I don't even want to go there.
You'd be shocked. That's all I'll say.
I'm certain I would. This is Ohio Day.
It is Ohio Day, and in honor of Ohio Day, I thought I'd have you on to talk a little bit about some of the things we have in common and maybe some of the things that are unique about your state. It's November the 2nd, and the reason that we're celebrating Ohio Day today is this is the day that Ohio came into the Union. And that's something we don't often talk about.
Was it
Georgia.
1802? Was that what was the
Sure, you're the one you're the Ohio expert. So
I don't know.
Anyhow.
Well, it is amazing that there are so many other things that occupy this date as also an important day in the country, right?
like what?
Well, National Stress Awareness Day. Shut up.
National Stress Awareness Day.
That's today, and National Dynamic Harmlessness Day.
What in the world is that?
Go figure that out. I have no freaking idea.
National Dynamic Harmlessness Day.
And what's so sad is that 2 days ago, our wonderful Cincinnati Bengals got beaten by the Cleveland Browns. You know, that's just wrong. Yeah. But that was an all-Ohio thing, so that's important. Ohio State Buckeyes, the Ohio State University. Have you ever heard of the word "the" being copyrighted? It's a trademark now. The Ohio State University. You cannot say the Georgia Bulldogs. You cannot say
that's
whatever.
Like hotels.com. They've got that whole thing. Yeah. That's you know what Ohio has in common with Georgia, as well as Michigan, Kansas, Iowa, Nebraska, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, New York, and Indiana.
Boy, I don't know, because Pennsylvania is a commonwealth, so that's not it.
It has nothing to do with state governments, I'll say that.
Oh.
I looked this up, and apparently the only thing that we all have in common is that at least one water body is impaired by pesticides, and at least one senator is on the Senate Agricultural Committee. That's all I could find. And
how long did it take you to research that?
Anyhow, it's from.
If you're doing that, you have way too much time on your hands, Matt.
I was looking ahead for the show, and that's from the Natural Resources Defense Council. So they've spent a lot of time coming up with that, I'm sure.
Oh, well, yeah.
You want to play a game?
You never know.
Let's play a little game this morning, too, while you're
okay. Well, excuse me, but I also want to let you know it's National Deviled Egg Day.
That's important.
And then on top of that, National Eating Healthy Day. So back to Ohio. I want to play a game.
I've already ruined Eating Healthy Day.
I had yogurt this morning.
Did you?
With some granola, cherry yogurt with granola.
There you go.
That's a very, very non-Georgia kind of breakfast.
Well, before we get into the game, for those of you that don't know my friend Rob used to play on a big show up there in Ohio. He was a television guy. His mother started out in radio, and he came down to help us with, of course, the very first Georgia Radio, Old Time Radio Hour. But
that was such fun.
You used to, thank you. You used to play on the Midwest Hayride.
On the Midwestern Hayride,
Yeah.
I did, yeah.
Midwestern
with Kenny
Hayride.
Price. It was great. I was not a country music fan until Kenny Price sat down with me, and we hit it off. And sadly, I was only on for the last 2 seasons of the show. It had been on the air for well over 20 years, originating in Cincinnati and on in Dayton, Columbus, and Indianapolis, and even made the networks for a while. I think it made NBC for a while back in the 50s. But the Midwestern Hayride with Kenny Price and all the great folks and musicians who were on that show just opened my eyes to country music, and I became a fan. I mean, I got to do all sorts of songs like, and if it feels good, do it. If it hurts, just let it lie.
That's
There's
the first
no
thing I think
mystery to
of.
it. It's a better way to look at life.
When I think of country music, that's not the first thing I think of, but I'll think of it now. There you go.
Your Cheatin' Heart would
Your Cheatin'
probably
Heart.
would be one of the top ones.
You're a big guitar player. You're a collector of Martin guitars and all kind of crazy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got. I fell in love with Martin guitars in the Kingston Trio days, the folk music craze of the 1960s, a time when they thought the major seventh chord was gone forever.
Yeah, and then they proved it wrong. Well,
Yeah. So anyway, I'm a Martin guitar player and love bluegrass music as well. You know, when I listen to people like Chris Thiele and even, Bill Monroe and the Bluegrass Boys and Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs and J.D. Crowe and the New South, all those guys. But country music, that's good. All right, so the pesticide, the pesticide water, that would be Ohio and Michigan share Great Lakes. What about Georgia?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I've already moved on. I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't tell. I'll have to go back and look. I'll have to go back and find out what our thing is. All right, here we go.
Let's play a game.
Can you guess our state crop here in Georgia? Pretty easy.
Well, it's peaches, right?
It's peanuts.
Oh, it's peanuts. Okay.
Yeah, peanuts. The state fruit of Ohio.
Would not be the Buckeye because that's a nut. So I don't know the answer.
I didn't get this one. It's the tomato.
That's right. A tomato is a fruit, not a vegetable. You're exactly right.
Before Ohioan Alexander Livingston developed the Paragon tomato in 1870, most Americans thought of tomatoes as small fruits with a bitter taste. But this one, the Paragon, was larger and sweeter, leading Livingston to develop more than 30 varieties of tomatoes. So there you go.
Wow.
The native fruit of Ohio is the pawpaw. And I thought that was funny because this weekend, this guy got lost up there at the Boy Scout camp. And the lady said, well, where's
the native fruit of Georgia is the pawpaw?
The native Ohio fruit is the pawpaw.
Oh, okay.
And this fella had no idea where his campsite was. And he said, well, it's way down yonder in the pawpaw patch.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. And so there you go.
That's how that started, huh?
That's how it started, I suppose. This was kind of cool too, and I didn't realize this, but it makes sense. The thing about snakes, everybody thinks about snakes in a bad way, but your snake, your state snake there in Ohio, the reptile here
is the black racer, isn't it?
It's the black racer, a very good snake.
That I knew. Yes, indeed.
Our state reptile here in Georgia is the gopher tortoise. So there
Can I
go.
tell you, talking about black snakes, in this case, the black racer, different. I'm probably going to get in trouble, but I had a neighbor of mine when Jill and I were out of town look at across the lawn and see a 10-foot long black snake curled up against our driveway, our garage door. The neighbor went over and killed it. And I thought, and since then we've had a mold problem.
Yeah.
This daggone,
You need to get one of those black racer snakes around there.
Yeah, maybe we can import some. But yeah, that's a good one, Ohio.
Well, I just realized we have something else in common, and that's our state mammal. Both states have the white-tailed deer as our state mammal. So there you go.
And they have taken a liking to some of the plants that Jill has planted around our house. We can see them come up. Yeah, they have availed themselves, much to Jill's chagrin, to some of the plants that she has to then cover up every night so they don't come and eat it in the middle of the night.
Oh, goodness. Poor Jill. Well, the state bird here in Georgia is the brown thrasher. You have his
We got the northern cardinal up here.
Oh, my goodness. Beautiful bird.
Yes.
What a gorgeous bird. Well, I'm ready to come to Ohio and have a visit. I'll tell you what. I'm just ready.
We are ready, and I'll put you in the studio where we can make it any color you'd like, and I can even probably call up Control Room Peach and have it come up in that color. So
that's our state fruit. Yours is your state native fruit, the pawpaw.
Yeah.
Ours is the peach. I think that's pretty neat. You are now have transitioned. You're of course we work together in the air show world, but you're also an audiobook narrator. And you're doing quite well reading smut novels, and I think that's worth applauding.
I
had no idea.
At this point, I'm still new enough that I'm and not desperate enough that I fortunately don't have to look for those kinds of titles. I have gotten into some military and political thrillers, which have been fun, and I've just finished one on technology and murder in a small town Colorado detective and how it all works out. So. Anyway, I'm working on the next one, and it's from a retired Air Force lieutenant colonel. So
there you go. Well, I appreciate your Ohio quiz this morning and playing along with us. It's good to have you on. There's a lot of people listening this morning, by the way.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So tell them some titles if they want to go. Want to go hear you. What was the last one you read? The
last one I read that made it up was called The Bronco Contract. And that's about an former Air Force fighter pilot who flew F-16s and OV-10 Broncos and A-10s in a fight against some drug cartel people. That's a good one. That's The Bronco Contract by Chris Broyhill. That's on Amazon. There was another event that took place actually in northern Kentucky, just across the river from Cincinnati, back in 1977, and that was the Beverly Hills Supper Club fire. And that book, written by Peter Bronson, formerly of the Cincinnati Enquirer, is called Forbidden Fruit, Sin City's Underworld and the Supper Club Inferno. That killed 165 people in one night. And I was there at the fire the night that the club burned. And so I voiced that book, Peter Bronson, Forbidden Fruit. And another one by a high school classmate of mine who is a retired Navy captain and a doctor. And he's the guy that actually got me interested in doing it after I had attempted one audiobook with not much success. Anyway, his name is Kenneth Andrus, and the books that I have out with him are Arctic Menace and Amber Dawn.
And be
both
careful
are
the
military
way you say that first title.
Arctic.
Arctic. Yeah.
Arctic.
Yeah.
Arctic Menace.
Say it wrong, and it's got a whole different meaning. But thanks for coming on, Rob. I always appreciate you doing this.
You're cutting me off. I'm not done yet. It's not even 15 after.
I'm cutting you off. We got to run. It's a very busy show today.
Well, thank you for letting me come on to talk about Ohio and all that other stuff. I appreciate it, Matt. Good to see you.
The carnation is the state flower, right?
Yes.
And the cardinal, the state bird,
the northern cardinal.
Two gorgeous red items.
And the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah.
Even though the nut is brown and kind of gray, they are scarlet and gray and doing very, very well. If you're in Columbus, you got to be a Buckeyes fan.
There you go. Rob Reider. Thanks for coming
partner.
on. All right. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, this is Wade Peoples from Georgia Folk and Farm Life Radio. I'm here to tell you about Meeks Brothers Cattle Company. And you don't have to worry about supply chain issues or where your beef comes from. Do what I do and call Meeks Brothers Cattle Company today. You can get a whole, half, a quarter, any amount of beef you want. Good quality beef, vacuum packed, lasts up to 3 years in your freezer. It's grass-fed, grain-finished, made to order. Visit Meeks Brothers Cattle Company on Facebook today and tell them Brother Wade sent you. And that's Meeks Brothers Cattle Company. Thank you.
I know you can hear me, and so can your customers. Lots of people don't take kids seriously. Well, listen up. Advertising on Georgia Radio is seriously easy and affordable. Visit georgiaradio.com/advertise, or better yet, call the station. So let's talk. Your customers are listening, and so is my mom. Hi, Mom.
Georgia Radio. Good company and great country.
Enjoying the country music.
And welcome back here to Neighbor, Matt Jolly hanging out with you. I was talking about Ms. Ellis earlier, and she wrote in and said that she had some stuff for sale. And she wrote me back, and she said, how dare you make it sound nasty? Well, I'm just going off what you sent me. I'm very sorry about that. I'll let Brother Wade step in here because he might be able to be the judge of this. Brother Wade, how you doing? Are you there? Can you hear me? Well, anyhow, he's around somewhere. Maybe he's got his button mashed wrong. Let's see if he's in. You there, Brother Wade? I can hear you. He's having some technical difficulties here.
Who is me?
Well, we got it figured out now. I don't know. Miss Ellis wrote in and she said she has some stuff that she'd like to sell, and she sent me this email. And she says, I make leather crafts for the bedroom, and I make all ALL capitalized, all of it capitalized in underline types of things for the bedroom. Email me if you'd like to discuss. Well, I said I don't know. That's all
stuff.
Well, I have no idea. And so she got a little mad at me when I said, Ms. Ellis, I can't read what you sent me. She wrote back and said, how dare you make it sound dirty? And I didn't. I just said it might be better suited for somewhere else. But anyway, if you'd like to write Miss Ellis, as she says, about her leather crafts for the bedroom that are not dirty, whatever that might be, this would have been a great case where she should have been.
I'm sure it's leather, what they call comforter balances. What's some things that women put on their shams? Yeah, leather shams. And
a leather bedspread.
It's leather bedspread, leather sham, and maybe leather fitted sheets. I'd like to see somebody try to put a leather fitted sheet on. I'd like to watch that.
I would like to watch that too. Nothing like curling up in a buckskin. You know what I mean? Wade?
That's exactly right.
There you go. Yeah. Well, Miss Ellis, I'm very sorry. I hope
I want one of those fitted leather sheets with the fringe on it. That's what I want. Something for Conway to chew on.
There you go. Well, I don't know what I'm curious now.
On it.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, I am too.
I don't know what she makes. Well, she'll have to send me something back here, and we can. I guarantee you, she's listening right now.
Well, send her your size measurements.
Yeah,
she'll make you some.
I don't know what size she wants. That's the.
Where do I measure? My face turning red now.
Yeah, I bet. It's a family show, and I don't know how.
It's a family show. Yeah.
Ms. Ellis, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. We'll see what she comes back with. All right. How are you today, Brother Wade? You in the woods?
I'm quite well. I'm on my way back from the Fort Wentworth Mill and IP Pulp Mill with a load I unloaded and headed back to the woods.
I think that's great. Today is National Ohio Day. I had my buddy Rob on. We were talking about Ohio this morning. And the state native fruit is the pawpaw. And I was telling him about my
down here, pawpaw's your grandpa, your grandma's husband, or step-husband, whichever he might be, but
Well, there's a song about it, way down yonder in the pawpaw patch. And this guy this
pawpaws
weekend.
are the fruit. Pawpaw fruits are good. They are. They're good. Got to get down there in the branch to get them. They down there in the woods.
Well, this fellow this weekend, he said he got lost. He didn't know where his Cub Scout pack was at when we were at the scout camp, and he said, I'm way down yonder in the pawpaw patch.
He lost his Cub Scout pack. That's pretty serious.
Yeah, he said, that's how he described it. He was way down yonder in the pawpaw patch.
Pawpaw patch.
Just like the song.
Yeah. Maybe so in Ohio, huh?
Yeah, maybe. I didn't see
Did you know
anything.
that? Did you say that was in Ohio?
No, that was here in Georgia. He said he was way down.
No, I thought you said somebody was in Ohio.
Yeah, this morning. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Ohio, listen. If you find this hard, I have spent more time in Ohio than any other state other than Georgia in my life. I used to go there every week and haul up there, and I love Ohio. That's a nice state.
It is a nice state. The white-tailed deer, we have that in common with them. It's our state mammal.
Yeah. Well, I remember one year about 30 years ago, I was there on opening day, and there were 65,000 deer killed on opening day there.
Wow.
And everybody up there, down here, everybody's got a pickup. I don't know, it might have changed, but back then, everybody down here got a pickup, and we haul our deer around the pickup. And, you know, and a redneck's prone to put them in the back, let the tailgate down so that everybody can see him back there, and they ride around all half the morning, seeing and be seen with their deer. Well, in Ohio, these guys didn't have pickup trucks. They all drove old clunker cars, and they'd strap them to the hood. And I've seen, you know, like old, big old deuce and a quarter with a big old buck with his tongue hanging out, tied to the hood, you know, and they'd drive around. They'd be stiff and have rigor mortis be setting in before they finally went to the processing place to get them processed because they wanted to show them off. But it'd be cold up there, you know. But, yeah, deer hunting, I've seen 40 deer at a time in fields up there at night.
That's crazy.
Not that I was hunting at night. I mean, just with my headlight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And they would strap them to the hood of the car up there and drive out. The hood of the car gets warm. And deer meat.
It's cold up there, you know. Yeah, they'd probably be spoiled on the bottom side next to the hood, and the top side still frozen. It takes now I want you to process half of this meat, you know, the other half to give to the dogs, you know.
Yeah, strap it onto the roof.
But seriously, that's what, you know, if you get a big deer, this was before cell phones and taking pictures, so you just had to be seen with your deer, and they would haul them around half the morning, you know, so everybody could see their deer, showing them off.
I love it. Did you hear about the record deer that was shot out there in Carroll County this past week?
No.
Yeah, I saw that, and
big one. Was it
big
typical
one.
or non-typical?
Yeah,
or what?
a very, very big one. And I was just pulling
you know
up
what
here.
Typical or non-typical means?
Typical or not? Give me the. You're going to tell me.
Well, no, the antlers. If they're shaped like a standard rack, that's typical. Some have tines that point down, or really a lot of really irregular style rack. That's a non.
Yeah. No, they were. I believe this was typical.
Yeah.
Yeah, big buck, and I want to say I'm pulling it up right now. I read this.
Could probably win a big buck contest, but I probably would never win the big buck contest. I don't even enter in those.
I read this on, of course, Georgia Outdoor News Magazine. They're Carroll County.
I love GON. It's a great magazine.
It's a great magazine. This is great. Teen shoots top end buck from Carroll County. Her name is Miss Jordan, and out there, I think that's the family that's got. If I had to guess, one of the big truck dealerships up there, 170-inch buck. Wow. One of the best ever from the Georgia County, 10-point buck, and she's 13 years old. Carly Jane Jordan.
That is nice.
It's Georgia again. This is coming from Georgia Outdoor News, the magazine that we all like to read.
That's got to be a thing over the years. Used to only most of the guys and young would take their sons, grandsons, young guys with them, boys hunt. But in recent years, it's gotten to be very common to men to take their daughters or their granddaughters, young girls, deer hunting, and that's a good thing.
Well, 13 years old, just finished softball season, she said, and it's not her first deer. She started when she was 9, I believe. That's what the article said. Anyway, isn't that cool?
Commendable.
It is really great. Cool. So good on you.
I like that,
Miss Jordan. I'm glad you got it. And Miss Ellis has not written back, by the way. She's not written anything back, so I have no idea.
I wonder if she can make anything out of deer skin, deer hide.
Yeah, maybe a koozie or something.
Yeah,
deer hide koozie for the bedroom. Toilet bowl brush cover, perhaps. One of those Kleenex tissue box covers.
We're gonna get in trouble for this morning's over now.
She's gonna write back, and it's gonna be something like, "I make lampshades."
Yeah, she's somebody's granny, and she's she's probably the pastor's wife, and
and here we
humiliated her, and you humiliated her. I stayed out of it. I didn't say a word.
She hadn't written back yet, but if you do have something to sell that's entertaining and good, please send it on over, Matt.
And lawful and moral and not fattening.
That's right. Yeah. Matt at mygeorgiaradio.com, and I'll be sure to read it on the air, as they say.
Well, did you see Baby Conway on Georgia Folk and Farm Life? He got a little upset this morning with the man that had been
I did. That poor fella. You just beating up on him. It doesn't sound good. It's unbecoming. Harvey's going to be mad at you for doing that. You know,
Harvey will think it's hilarious.
Listen. This poor guy wrote. He didn't know. I don't think he knew that it was your group. He was upset about how much you posted too much.
But he left the group and blocked me before I could even respond. That's how mad he was.
Yeah.
I didn't get rid of. He got rid of himself. They didn't ever even see my response. He's never seen my response because he blocked me. But it was funny. And then Baby Conway, my little dog, got on there this morning. And he was outraged that the man was ugly to his daddy. And did you see his post?
I did.
He said if he meets that man, he was going to bite his ankle and pee on his foot and open up a can of something besides chicken on him. So that man better watch out.
Better watch out.
He has raised Baby Conway's ire.
Goodness gracious. I want to know how a 9-pound dog writes on a computer. That's what I want to know.
He just evolved.
There you go. Bangs away on the keyboard. Well,
his paw does it. His paw does it.
I didn't
get that. Boy,
I got it. I just
okay.
Letting it slide.
Yeah, that's trashy truck driver just threw trash out the window. That's just nasty,
isn't it? Why would they do that? A professional driver throw trash out?
I don't know. Right there in front of they say God and everybody.
Just tosses it out. Well,
yeah.
Well, you've already called one guy out. You just have to read his license plate, I guess. But here we go. All right, get back to the woods.
Actually, that truck driver right there is the one I ran into about 2 years ago and totaled the truck out.
Are you serious?
Driver.
Same driver?
I am serious. It's the same truck, same driver.
Huh. Well, don't.
And
do
we're
that.
about 2 miles from where that happened a couple of years back.
You know every turn in the road, every bump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Every brown bag cafe there is.
Every time you call me and have me on the air, you regret it. But next week you do it again. You just never learn.
I never learn.
I say outrageous things and things that Yeah, and it's like you can't edit it out. It's live radio.
It's live. We're done.
Yeah, all you could do is apologize and put on a disclaimer.
That's right.
Anything Wade people says, is his own BS.
That's right.
Not necessarily the opinion of the management
Send
staff
your
of this
hate
radio
mail.
station. You have to P.O. Box 135 Garfield 30425.
There you go.
And check your checks and hate mail to P.O. Box 135 Garfield 30425.
Did you raise any money for the missionaries?
Yes, we've got some checks. I don't open them when they come to me. I told Josh and there's some more at the post office. I hadn't been by there to get the others. Yes, I don't know how much, but I need to thank everybody and encourage them to keep doing that. But I tell you, our members on Georgia Focus Farm Life, the Facebook group, are a wonderful bunch of people, and we don't do very often ask them to give, and we only ask those that that can afford to give do so. But it's a wonderful blessing. It really, really is, and I thank all of them for it.
Well, I hope that you'll celebrate National Ohio Day in style today. Maybe have a pawpaw or a tomato. That's the state fruit, is a tomato. So you can do that.
Because a tomato is a fruit. It's not a vegetable.
Well, yeah. I remember that trivia.
Oh, you said that like you knew that.
I remembered that. Yeah.
Smart boy.
It's a nightshade, too. According to my doctor, I shouldn't be eating vegetables. They're all going to kill me.
Which reminds me, everything that, you give to your dog, you can't give them raisins, chocolate, grapes, garlic, onions. And seriously, it'll kill your dog. And so the other day, I gave the baby a raw potato. He wanted one. Then I thought, I better look that up. And he's over there eating a
raw potato.
Raw Irish potato. And I looked it up, and it said, it's a member of the deadly nightshade family. It has a toxin that will kill dogs. I ran over and snatched it away, and he was hurt. That thing hurt him. I took his tater from him, tater thief.
Did he eat it, though?
He had eaten some. He didn't get sick.
Yeah.
But then, what was funny, one website said, sure, give your dog potatoes. They love them. And then there's about 100 after that says it'll kill dogs. And you have to cook them to kill the toxin in them. So, what is that first website all about? They dog haters or something,
I guess so.
Dog haters. Yeah.
Well, nonetheless, I'm glad Conway's okay, and I'm glad you're all right. You're going to write a little bit tonight? You're going to sit by the fire?
Pick
and
somebody off. Yeah, I'll make somebody angry.
There you go. All right. We'll get writing, brother.
Well, listen, I've got to go. I've got to head into the woods here. Give my heads up.
I'm glad you're having fun.
Enjoyed it.
Talk to you real soon, brother. All right.
Bless y'all.
Brother Wade Peebles, you can find him on Georgia Folk and Farm Life, the big Facebook group that is just waiting for you to come and join them, whether you're in Ohio, Georgia, it doesn't matter. Just sign on up for Georgia Folk and Farm Life. You'll be glad you did. I want to thank Rob Reider for coming on this morning and talking to us about our friends up there in Ohio celebrating National Ohio Day today on November the 2nd. November the 11th, it's going to be here before you know it. Come on down to the Griffin Auditorium, the Griffin Opera House and Auditorium in downtown Griffin, Georgia. Scott Haggard will be playing, as well as our friend Mark Ware, and we'll be there carrying the whole concert live, but come on down for a free Veterans Day concert, November the 11th. Sit back, enjoy the camaraderie and the company. We'll talk to you real soon. So long for now, everybody. And don't forget, Classic Country and Request. It's on tonight, 7 to 9. So long for now.
Georgia Radio. Good company and great country.